Alright, I am going to do a video on a Christmas craft, if you will, bulbs for your Christmas tree, Christmas bulbs. So the ones I'm doing are plastic. You can also use the glass bulbs. Just be careful with those, of course. Um, this is a new method I'm trying this time, and I have learned a few things. So, um, I usually use something else. It's a clear something or other, like I can't think of the name of it, but it's clear liquid that comes in a tin container in the paint department, and I can't think of what it's called. But anyways, I don't have any of that, so we're gonna try. We're gonna use a Mod Podge. I do not have any completely dry yet to show, um, but I do have a couple that are ready, I believe, for glitter. And I'm going to show you how I get everything into the bulb. Very simple, actually. So, here's my bulb. I'm using the plastic like I showed you. So you want to pop off the top here. It comes with a little string. Put those aside. Alright, so very small opening, as you can see. I have a funnel. So I have one that is just for the Mod Podge and one that is for the glitter. So this method is for the glitter, adding the glitter to get it to stick to the sides. If you don't want it to stick to the sides, just funnel in some glitter, and then it's like a shaker, or you can add, add whatever you want in there. My goal is to coat the entire inside with glitter. Okay, so Mod Podge, when it goes on, is going to be white. This is my big thing of Mod Podge. This one is a gloss finish, which is not a big deal because the bulbs are kind of shiny themselves, so it's not a big deal. You can use any type of Mod Podge. There's a matte finish, there's the glow in the dark, there's all kinds. There's the dishwasher safe. You won't obviously be washing these in the dishwasher. You use that one, but there's so many different types you can use. I opted not to do the glow in the dark one this time because I didn't know if it was going to keep it like a yellow color when it dried. I'm not sure on plastic how that goes. So anyways, funnel. Just pour some Mod Podge in there. And swirl it around until you get it completely coated and the entire thing is white. Trying to get all my Mod Podge in there. And then I use an egg carton to set my bulbs in and my funnels. So you're going to see me swirling it, and it's hard to kind of show that part, but you're going to swirl it all the way. It'll run down the sides. So you see it's running. I got to tip it a little this way to close that gap. And then you just kind of go for a while and then add more as you need to. Kind of run it. Now, one thing I do know about this, that I have learned about this, is it does seem like there's a lot of bubbles with this, with that clear whatever coating I used to use. Didn't have that problem, so I'm hoping it doesn't look like they're staying once I add the glitter and kind of shake it on there. So that's good. So I'm going to keep swirling and keep adding until it's completely coated. And then I just kind of tip it a little more, keep it going all the way around, then tip it a little more until it's all the way coated. So now we're kind of to the point where I need it to be down here. There we go. To get to this point, it's kind of hard to see. You kind of have to hold it up to see what it's doing on this end. I'm going to watch it close that gap, come all the way down. And then I will let it sit in the egg carton until it's not dripping out anymore. but you do want to make sure it does not dry before you get your glitter in there. Now, another method that I have used for those who don't want, there's a big there's a big bubble in there. It'll go away when I shake it. Is paint. You can use paint or really any kind of liquid instead of Mod Podge and glitter if you don't want to use a glitter, or you could even do a colored paint with glitter. I've done the paint before for a little boy who didn't want glitter. And then what I do is I add the glitter. I'm going to show you that here in a minute. And you can do any colors, which is why it's really cool because it's customizable. And then I will show in another video, once these are completely dry, like the next day, I will add the names on the outside. So I will use my Cricut to cut out a stencil. I'm trying not to waste here, so I'm letting it drip into the jar a little bit. And then I put the stencil on the outside, and I actually use paint to paint the name, or you could put the year or whatever you want on there. And then it's done. I don't put any coating over the name or anything. So now that it's kind of all dripped out of there, I'm trying to shake out a little bit. Again, I don't want to waste if I can help it. And then I'm going to put it upside down in an egg carton to drip out a good amount, because what happened when I did, I thought it would dry quicker than it did. Usually Mod Podge dries pretty quickly. This is taking its time today. You can see where it's not, the lighting is really not great, but where there's white spots, now the white will dry clear no matter what. But it's not as, I'm actually going to just add some more glitter in there and see what happens. It's not as pretty, as colorful. So then I take my funnel. This one I used silver, green, and red for Christmas colors. And then I'm going to do some that are gold, green, and red. Lily thinks I should do that. So I'm just adding a little bit in there. I've already done a whole coat, but because it kind of dried upside down, a lot of it came out. So make sure, I have some over here. Now, as you're drying these, make sure you flip them every once in a while to have, because otherwise you're going to have bald spots in there if it all runs out. So let it run back down a little bit for a little while, and then flip it back over. This one looks to be done dripping, as well as this one. And this one is not quite there. So we're going to let that one just basically go until it's not dripping anymore. And then we're going to take our finger. This part right here, the rim doesn't matter as much because the little pieces on top are going to cover that, okay? So we don't really need that covered. You just put your finger over the hole and just shake it. And then I shake it on the side and rotate it. You can use a solid color, of course, chunky glitter, whatever. I'm just trying to coat it a little bit more. Yeah, it looks like it all stayed in there, so that's good. And then I'm going to let this just dry the rest of the way. So I'm going to do the same with this one, because a lot of the Mod Podge ran out after I had the glitter in there. And so I'm going to add some more glitter before it completely dries. Now that it's not dripping anymore, it should stay in place better. So that's my tip. Add as little as much as you want of each color. I'm just doing a couple taps because there's already some in those ones. And then I'm just trying to get it to be even at least. So then I will show the finished product once they're dry. Even though it sounded like there was a bunch in there, it actually really wasn't any that came out when I tipped upside down. So that's nice. I'm going to grab my paper towel. Probably better to use like a baby wipe or something, because this is a type of glue. Mod Podge is a type of glue. And so it will get on your fingers and things. It's not the end of the world. It's just like Elmer's glue, kind of. It doesn't burn or anything. You should probably be wearing gloves, but I don't. Okay, so that's how you add the glitter. That's pretty easy. And then I have a couple over here that are ready to add the glitter as well. I'm going to do a little bit of gold in these ones instead of the silver and see how those turn out. And then again, I'm going to kind of leave them upside down just in case they do drip a little, because if they cool in the bottom, you can see it looks darker, which is not a huge deal. All right, let's do some gold this time. You could even mix gold and silver. I'm just doing Christmas colors and all these. These are for my family and friends. So these are not orders, but this is how I do my ones that have ordered from me as well. And it's still really drippy. It's still dripping on my fingers. But the glitter kind of helps it too. So I'm going to let it sit upside down now. Actually, I'm going to put it this way. There's an air bubble, so I'm going to pop that. I'm going to let it drip down for a little while. And then I'm going to flip it and let it drip up. So I would say let it dry for a while. Make sure you don't let it dry all the way, because then it won't stick. Put some glitter in there, shake it around, and then let it dry. Flip it, let it dry a little longer, and then if you need to add some more glitter. This one actually looks pretty with the gold, so I'm going to do a couple with the gold. I'm actually going to alternate those, and then I could probably just put a piece of paper towel over it and they shake it, but what fun is that? So that is it. That's how I make my Christmas ornaments. It's easy because you can customize them any color. You can put anything in there. Like I said, a lot of people don't like the glitter, so I do paint. You could also do the Mod Podge with a color, like a dye or a mica powder. So there's lots of options, and you could get, you know, like different shaped confetti and put it in there too, like stars and candy canes and things like that. That would be fun. I've done these for teacher gifts before, where I just put like their last name initial on there as a gift. I do little gift baskets, but we're homeschooling now, so we don't do that anymore. But that's options to do for your teachers. That's super easy, pretty affordable. I mean, you can get cheap glitter too. It's on the inside, so that's what makes it nice. It's not gonna flake off. That's the reason I do it on the inside. You don't have to seal it that way. It's already ready to go. And then on the outside, when I do the paint, I don't seal it at all. So I will try to do a video on how I do the stencil and the painting on the outside. It's pretty straightforward, but just to show you, and I'll show the finished products for sure. And then I kind of peek in here. It looks like it's kind of all in the bottom. It's really dark in there, so it's hard to see, but I'm going to flip it upside down and let some of that drip, just so that it's not all going to the bottom. So I keep just alternating them. Same with the ones that just are drying still. This one is still drying too. So that's how I do that. So yeah, this is one of my Christmas crafts. So stay tuned for the finished product.